name is Alex Mwaura Musheru. Otherwise I'm also known as
also known
as Kizungu ni yake. Also known as Sir Alex on radio. I work at Pearl Radio. I'm a comedian, event host, interior designer. Nini sifanyi Nairobi? Nini ingine nafanyanga wewe?
DIY master.
I'm a husband. Ningeanza na husband. I'm a husband.
Hata nilikuwa sahau.
Nimeanza na zile vitu zo provide for you. Yes, I'm a husband, and what else? I'm born again. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Esther Wanjiru Mwaura. I am a wife. We thank the Lord.
Yeah.
I am a wife. Yeah. A loving wife, a suitable helper to my husband. Yeah, so that's what I'm willing to say, I think.
There's more.
There's more.
Hey.
Okay.
Who's a kazi?
I do run a ministry called the Emerald Woman Ministry, and I serve at our church. Yeah. And then I was an events planner and an event organizer. But yes. And we are
The Mwauras.
And this is our love story.
Where did we meet? It was in a barrio.
It was a funeral.
2019.
November 27th.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember.
Men with dates. Yes,
it was the day that my life changed.
For good. Yeah, we met in a barrio. And we can't say it was love at first sight.
Well,
because no one goes to a barrio to look for a loved one.
For sure.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you saw me. I came out of the church. You saw me, babe. I help you with this story because you saw me first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my boys, we're chilling outside the church where the
service was happening.
And then so this like 3. Were you guys 3 or 2?
We were 2.
You're 2.
We were with, yeah.
Hey bro. Usiangalia kimangoto lakini there's a fly chick nyuma yako. We're gojea Peter and then Jack. So I was burning with anxiety. Akaniambia amepita sasa angalia. So I never got to see her face. So I saw, the background. So I was like, hey, okay. So nilimuona kirudi. That's when I got to see now the face
how
behind the
background.
I am. Like,
Miss Babes.
Bone on my bone, fresh on my flesh. Too early. Ziko namjua. So I'm like, she's pretty. And yeah, that's the first time I saw her. So you saw me.
So I
saw fainted.
Please. I saw you. So I saw him with his friend and walikuwa wamekamna a lot of swag for watu wanakamushago. And then
sini respect.
Your boy alikuwa ba Timberland za brown, sijui bwana naka alafu he's muscled up, both of you are muscled up, so mnaka two ka bouncers. I'm like, who are these gangsters who have come for
gangsters?
Yeah. So we were introduced by would I say a friend? Maybe an acquaintance for me at the time.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay attention to him because the friend was asking me about my Rorasho and stuff. So if we get into that, it's a whole other story. But the friend was introducing him as an MC. He can be able to MC my Rorasho. But I didn't pay attention to him. I didn't even remember the name that he gave me, Akianani.
So you don't remember my name?
At the time, no.
On that day, uko nakumbuka jina yangu
venye niliintroduce na.
So by the time I'm going home, I know that she's about to do a ratio.
Yep.
So. But
he was so smitten. He won't tell you that. He was like, "Oh, this chick is so hot."
Oh, honey. So by the time I'm home, like this chick is taken. Then. Yeah, so that was the first time that
we met.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to forget me, but he just couldn't. I mean, when the Lord fights for you. So so we met that day, and I heard he was in a relationship at the time, so I was like, wachana your story. He heard I was rashiaing, akachana nayo. Then what else happened? Oh yeah, so days passed. Was it like when you guys went for the cell group host meeting?
Yeah.
That was in December, I guess.
Yeah, it was December.
Yeah. So they met with a group of guys they serve with at church, and it came up. I came up in the conversation. You're best to say the story because maybe you were there.
Yeah. So someone mentioned that, hey, you see how Alex was behaving in that chick that day on the barrio?
Katiaing that chick.
I'm like, hey, whoa. I'm in a relationship. So guys, as in that happened that day. We had an interaction and it was good, and that ended that day. So the people who didn't know her were curious to know who's this chick. So simu ikatolewa, picha zikaanza zikifika kwangu na yeye naipeana, sitaki kumuona. So circulation. So now people got curious. You know, like, hey, how are you feeling? I'm not supposed to be feeling anything. I'm in a relationship. Used to Isha. So I tried to divert the conversation as much as possible because I didn't want to get in that space, because it's wrong in so many ways. But
and then that story, that day is shared.
Yeah.
And then so now January of 2020, I end up coming to their church.
Of all churches in Nairobi.
So it was the second Sunday, I remember very well. Yeah. And I came to that church, and then that's when now we met again and we got a chance to talk. I was looking for a church, babe. You know me.
Snack.
Please. Sikuwa nataka boy drama. I was looking for a church. I was looking for a church where I could be planted and where I could grow spiritually. I'm from like Mutaratara kind of setting church, so I was like looking for more a church that I can grow basically and just grow in the relationship with God. And so for me, my friend had invited me to this church, but I'd never gone. But I was like, okay, let me just try it out this particular Sunday, and I went, and that's when we met. And then after service, he came to say hi, and yeah, I was sure to tell him, Nini, I know you're about to get married. How are the plans? No, asi Nini, asi get ideas.
So I saw her in church and I was like, hey, of all churches, yani, why here?
I left a mark in your life.
Okay.
A connection there.
Like, of all churches, why here? Remember, I'm still in a relationship, and so even by the time you're meeting up after church, I have no agenda, because that happened, and we had a good conversation that day we met, and time has passed, so the memory is not as fresh as it was.
Yep.
So when we met up as a church, it was just check up, and then she kept bringing up my girlfriend.
At the time.
Where is she? I want to meet her. As in, this is a story. Ananiuliza anajiona as before.
Mimi najua sewa ni watu wa side chick wanaanza tu kuongelesha, wanataka ku DM. So I think I was like, hey, I need you to just know that I know, and boundaries. And I knew we had a connection. I felt like we could be really good friends because we clicked pretty easy. Yeah. We were laughing at the same jokes. We had a lot of banter together. Yeah. So I knew we would really get along. But I was like, I'm not willing to be your friend if your person's not willing to be your friend. And at this point, I'd not met her. So I was like, kwani unanificha vituka hizo. So nilikuwa nataka ku draw your boundary as early as possible.
Yeah. So she comes to church. At the time, between then and earlier on, there was just one or two things that were not working in my relationship then. So I think a month later, it came to an end. And
actually, end of that month.
Yeah, I think the end of that month came to an end.
25th January.
So she didn't know what was happening in my life at the time, because that's an area I didn't want to
mix the
two.
But we did see each other in like Bible study, prayers. We used to really meet up for prayers in church.
Yeah.
And then it was a fasting season, like January, guys were fasting. So the last week we were like seeing each other every day, but it was very platonic. Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the time, almost all the occasions, was in group settings with our friends after service, all that. That's what's happening. So so on the other side of my personal life, things are chaos, yani here and there, and the relationship came to an end. So now there's a new friendship, there's a relationship that has ended on this other side. You don't want this new friendship to become the next relationship because now itakuwa rebound. So there's all that, and then there's now dealing with an ex. Now there's
dealing with your heartbreak,
dealing with my heartbreak,
and her heartbreak, and church
so much.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
kiongozi wa kanisa
anacheza huko wasichana hivi. So yeah, so he had a lot on his plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now there's people knew us as a couple, so people now know so and so broke so and so's heart.
And now he's hanging out with so and so.
So
so ilikuwa bit tricky. He didn't land well. Yeah.
Well, speculations zikaanza ati sijui niliacha ili nianze na sasa hiyo it's so there is nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
So it was like a season that was hard.
Yeah, it was a couple of months.
Yeah.
Kwa ile
simu ilikuwa inapitishwa hivi. So
I have loyal friends.
The closest friend akasema, so just to my defense akasema mchana atachene naye akona ratio, so stop being in my business. So the best friend was like, ati ratio gani? Chick is so single.
Even ndo nilikuwa rat out.
So that's how it came out that she was single.
Yeah.
So the season that now the COVID came now is 2020. It's a COVID season.
Church got locked
closed
down.
So saisi kumeharibika. Bomb imerushwa.
Church ikafungwa.
So nimeacha watu kawa kwa wamesabanatika. There's hurt, there's disappointment. There's so many things are happening around my circles at the time. And COVID came. That COVID helps ilitusaidia sana kubuild our friendship because
away from the noise,
people,
away from the drama.
Yeah.
So we dated we started dating officially in April, but we hung out between like January, February, March, just to get to know each other. And even for me, I was like, I'm not trying to rush into anything. But even him, he really tried to, like, really listening to God and what God is saying about this relationship before he jumps onto the next one, because then he's not trying to make the same mistakes that he did in the previous relationship.
I think I was so cautious because I always calculate my moves, and the best way I do that is consulting God.
Yeah.
But in this last one, as in I thought this was heading to marriage, and then it's not. So I was so cautious on not to start something else. As in I was telling God that kama uweni na mimi acha tukae single. Acha nikuwe father ama something. Ningie.
Okay, I think maybe
Acha nipeane hiyo version. So the earlier version
nikanika different versions mili
okay,
and babe we're newness.
So naweza sema version ya hiyo side, forget about
honey.
So one time we're in the car and then she tells me something that ili shake my system. Akaniambia, if you want my heart you have to go through my father. And she doesn't mean the physical father, like the
earthly father. I mean heavenly father.
She was speaking about the heavenly father. So that's something I've never heard before. Like, how do you, like, we are used to come to my dad, meet my dad, and then if my dad is okay with it, and be a God, like how do you give consent? I've never heard this before, but I knew what she meant. It was like, you have to have a good relationship with God for you to
Because then
access.
he's the one who tells me. Because I was very, again, I think even just our past kind of played into us making sure that we don't make the same mistakes. And for me, I was so intentional with my relationship with God, and I was like, hey, I'm walking in purpose. I don't want drama and all those things. So I was like, God, you're bringing someone who I didn't see coming anytime soon, and this person we really clicked with, and this person we really like each other. But I was kind of scared of making the wrong choice and running ahead of God. So for me, it was very intentional that he would go through God so that then God gives me that peace or that confirmation that indeed this is where he wants us to be.
So fast forward a couple of months later, still during the COVID season, still churches are closed, and I had so much confidence that this is it. Mina nikaenda kwake nikamwambia, hey, let's do this, will you be my girlfriend? It wasn't dramatic. I didn't do,
but you had stated before where you are at, like he had said that I see you as a wife and not a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Though right now I'm not in a position to date and whatever, I still need to heal, but this is my stand and this is where I am. So he's the one who made the first move. So even when we were building friendship, we knew what we were doing. We knew the questions to ask each other and all that stuff. So he was very intentional in taking lead and sharing the vision way beforehand. So even when we were working in friendship, sikuwa nashindwa, who's this guy we're texting with every day and all that stuff. Yeah, he had already said.
Oh, I forgot that about myself.
We thank God you're submitted to him.
Yeah, so I did that on purpose because I didn't want, her wondering what's happening.
Yeah.
The typical question that sometimes women find themselves asking,
who are we? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
When 1 month becomes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and you're taking me to coffee, we are having hangouts, all that. So it was intentional to share the vision and then share why it can't happen now.
Yeah.
Because I'm still dealing with so much, and I don't want for you to
bring baggage.
All that, that's happening in my life to be dragged into the dirt. When I consulted God and I felt that, niko kwa space ya kudate, that's when I made the move of now officially asking her now, can we become a couple?
April 17th.
She's good with dates.
So, I mean, the lockdown really helped us again. So when we started dating, we were still in lockdown, and it helped us build again, like away from the noise, away from people kind of bashing me or him for like, gosh, also he had talked to our pastor, and he was very intentional about accountability.
Yeah.
So you are accountable with Passy. So that really also helped. Like he got the one consent so everybody else is just noise. Maybe you could share that part.
That's the one that really mattered to me the most, because he knew my journey even in the other relationship, and even before it came to an end, nilikuwa nishamwambia, hey, hapa na feel this and this and this and that. And I told him my greatest fear is because I'm in leadership, I'll affect so many things. And he told me, we come to church on Sunday for just a few hours. Don't base your life decisions based on the repercussions of that, or how you'll be treated, or what will happen.
Yeah.
And it gave me so much confidence to move and with boldness, because I felt like I have good backing.
Yeah.
But that did not take away the fact that people are still invested emotionally, and you'll have to deal with everyone as an individual, not as a congregation.
He was an enemy of the people for a minute, for a couple of before the lockdown.
So the hugs got fewer, the highs got, unapitwa na watu mlikuwa naongea sana. So it was hard because I'm a social person, but I knew there was a price, there's a consequence to everything. But I was like, you don't understand the story. So you understand. It's okay to think the way you think.
Yeah.
It's okay to have that opinion, because you only know part of the story. So it was hard, but for some reason God gave me grace to go through it, Now it became even more worse because now we are still locked down. It's
So
April.
tunarudi, yeah.
It's April. Hatujarudi church tunarudi September.
But hata tulikuwa tunajua tulikuwa tu.
Hatujui. Guess who proposes? I proposed even before we went back to church.
So akirudi church amerudi na proposal.
Na nilitoka na heartbreak nikiwa hivi.
Hizo ni 6 months. 6 months. So that was like, hey. It was shocking because then everybody thought I came from nowhere. Like, who's this chick? Where has she come from? She just came the other day. She's already been proposed to by this guy. Yeah.
Even some people actually speculated and said that I was double dealing.
Yeah. That
it
you
was
were
so
dating.
bad.
That he was dating both of us at the same time, and that's not true.
And honestly, yani, ni vile tu watu
It is what it is.
Mimi niko karibu kuwapeleka kwa harusi. So, women with details. So, Rudy.
Let's go back.
Let's go back. So
Dating,
and the more we got to spend time together, na kuongea and all that, the more I realized that this is the woman. I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. We're still a work in progress. But this,
yeah,
I love everything about this woman, even her flaws and every single thing.
To date, you still do?
I do. So Nikki's, it's on TV. Okay. So, you know, I sat down with my guys and like, guys, I want to propose.
Babe, you have skipped ahead.
What have I skipped?
No, in fact, that is even backward because you started the boys before. But I think
before dating.
No, I think the question was what made you propose. And yes, you saw me, you liked me, but what was like, and you loved the flaw, like my flaws and all this perfection. But like, what was the things that made you propose? Like, what was the things that made you know that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with?
Apart from loving you.
Love is not enough. I mean, now we know.
I feel like my wife there's some answers she wants me to give. So let me see if I'll attempt to.
Okay.
Nisipozisema utazisema because na wanika uko nazo. She the way she would challenge and challenge my mind, you know, to my thinking and not a yes woman, you know, everything yes.
No, ulikuwa umezoea. Because Alex likes to demand, like, he's an MC, so the audience, as in, by the way, what I tell you to do, you will do. Like, and then he's the life of the party. So he's used to making people laugh, all these things. But now he's like meeting someone who's just not submitted. I'm just not laughing at his jokes for the sake of. I'm like, yeah.